afternoon. Welcome to the Government House Weekly Press Briefing for the week of February 10th. I'm Deputy Director of Communications Jerry Yandel. Governor Bryan is currently in Washington, D.C., where he was attending the National Governors Association winter meetings. He's scheduled to testify tomorrow before the U.S. House Committee on Natural Resources, where he'll be discussing the state of the territory and as well as economic growth incentives. He's also taking part in a senior plenary session with other governors from the territories and senior White House officials and the leadership of the Department of Interior. That's for the Interagency Group on Insular Affairs, and they'll be giving updates on each of the territories. Governor Bryan has also scheduled a town hall meeting. Will take place in Frederiksted on February 27th at 6:30. The exact location is still to be determined. And Government House has started doing bi-weekly podcasts that are streamed live at 5:30 every other Thursday on the Government House Facebook page, and those videos are also up there to look at later. Coming up this Thursday is Public Works Commissioner Nelson Petty Jr., and on February 27th, it will be Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach. As you all know, the Ag Fest is this weekend, and with that, Commissioner Positive Nelson is going to talk about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Positive T.A. Nelson, Commissioner of the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture. I'm here with the Assistant Commissioner, Ms. Diana Collingwood. We want to just let the public be aware of, as you very well know, the 49th Annual Agriculture and Food Fair of the U.S. Virgin Islands is coming up on February 15th to the 17th, 2020. That's this weekend, President's Day weekend. Our theme this year, agriculture, trendy in 2020. And it's captured here in this beautiful poster. It was done by Mr. Peter Gonzalez out of St. Thomas. And if you look at the theme, it's captured here showing the new trends in food production, tower gardening, aquaponics, and of course using technology, as you see the young person here using the drone to monitor their fields. So it has captured what's happening in the agricultural industry today. The final day, today, February 10th, is the final day for farmers wishing to have their animals on display to contact the main office. Our main office number is 340-725-5268. The entrance fee for adults is $6, seniors $5, and children under 12, $4. 3-day passes will become available from February 11th to February 13th. And those 3-day passes will be adults $12, seniors $10, and children $8. That's for getting the 3-day passes. Youth activities will be conducted by the 4-H Club and the Petting Zoo. We have entertainment. We have a new entertainment director, by the way, Mr. Hubert Alexander. And we have a whole slew of entertainers, Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights, Big Band, Hyperactive Crew, Fusion Band, Heart Attack Band, Kurt Schindler, Big Daddy Choo Choo and the 411 Band, Pikey, Basic Vibes, Ras Bats, Music Emotion, the St. Croix Heritage Dancers, Lumoko School Orchestra, Guy C. Clark. There'll be a Soca Bingo by Bogo. There'll be a Reggae Artist Expo as well as a Soca Artist Expo. There'll be some 39 farmers utilizing 61 spaces and 4 value-added vendors. There will be 88 food vendors. And there will be some cooking demonstrations. On the 15th, you will have Mr. Clint Ferris, who will be doing an ice cream and surprise presentation. And on the 16th, you will have next generation coal pot cooking competition by our Virgin Islands culinary students. Eudorican High School, St. Croix Central High School, and Claudio Marco Elementary School, and St. Croix Educational Complex will be participating. Olassie Davis will be doing a presentation on natural bush and their use. On Monday, February 17th, Clint Ferris will again be doing a sweet treat presentation in the morning, sweet bread in the afternoon, public contest. Members of the public are invited to submit coconut tarts for judging. Submissions will be judged on taste as well as presentation and appearance. Participants must submit one uncut sweetbread, which can be rectangular loaf or round. Entries for judging in the public contest on Sunday, February 16th will be accepted at the Food Pavilion building on Sunday, February 16th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. The winner of the public contest will receive a cash prize. We have some islands from the Caribbean going to be in attendance: Grenada, St. Lucia, Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guyana, and St. Kitts. So please, we're inviting all to come on out. The ag ground, the Rudolph Schalterbrunn Agricultural Complex, we're just about fully restored to prior Maria and Irma Maria. And of course, this is the Virgin Islands family reunion that we all look forward to. There are some other happenings at the Department of Agriculture. As many of you know by now, there's been a break-in, and I think somewhere between the night of January 26th and the morning of January 26th and the morning of January 27th, the horticulture building was broken into. That is now the temporary main office for the department, and our safe was stolen. We did lose some $27,000 in checks and a little over $12,000 in cash. It's under police investigation. We have not caught anybody yet, but we're hopeful that there's some result. It's unfortunate because this puts a damper. As you know, these funds are utilized by the Ag Fair Board for the expenses that surround the fair. There's been an arrest that occurred at the Department of Agriculture that it was irrelevant to the safe situation and irrelevant to anything having to do with agriculture, but it did happen on the agricultural grounds, and I just want for the public to know that that was not relative to the break-in. It was a federal case, it was a Homeland Security investigation, and there was a federal court adjudication over the matter. Farmland use, oh no, let me back up. We want to let the public be aware that the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture is going to temporarily and voluntarily suspend operations at the abattoir. This is a voluntary suspension. We find it necessary to do so at this time because there are some mandates that have to be met according to the requirements of federal standards, and it is important that we take care of these issues so that we are not cited and we are not forced into closure. So we're taking a voluntary closure so that we can address these issues, and hopefully by the time we're ready to open back up, we will have not only the St. Croix abattoir operational once again, but we're also looking to have the St. Thomas abattoir up and running as well. A specific timeline we'll give later on as we get a little closer to completing the task at hand. Farmland use, we want the farmers to know, farmers who currently have leased government land, to know that the department has completed our assessment, and we want for you to increase your productivity on land. You cannot have 10 acres of government land and less than a half an acre in production. So we encourage you to be productive. We encourage you to keep your fence line clean, because we will be coming around and we are going to claw back some of this land to redistribute to others who want to be in production. The Assistant Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture is going to speak to you about some upcoming agricultural workshop and hands-on training and some internal staff training. Ms. Collingwood.
Good afternoon, I'm Diana Collingwood. I'm the Assistant Commissioner of Agriculture, here to provide some updates on upcoming activities we have within the department. We are working through the University of the Virgin Islands to offer some pesticide safety and pest management trainings being put on by the university beginning this February 25th on weed control and herbicide use, and it will be located here at the University of the Virgin Islands on St. Croix. On Wednesday, we will be holding a public health pest information session with the university, and that will also be held here on St. Croix at the university. We wanted to also announce that the first Farmers and Fishers Business Conference, a partnership between the EDA, the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture, the DPNR, and the U.S. Department of Interior, will be held Tuesday and Wednesday, March 3rd and 4th, on St. Croix at the University of the Virgin Islands, and the same week, the Thursday and Friday, March 5th to 6th, on the St. Thomas University of the Virgin Islands campus. Topics for discussion will include marketing strategies as it relates to getting into the supermarkets, purveyors, and institutional buyers, best practices and policies, record keeping, quick pointers to success, enforcement in terms of protecting our future, animal husbandry, surviving the storm, protecting the farm fishery industry, and the future of farming and fishing in the Virgin Islands. This conference is open to farmers and fishers and interested community members. We are also hosting a backyard farmers town hall meeting, which will be held in the second week of March, and we will invite all community members to attend to get your input for some proposals we would submit to the USDA for funding for some backyard farming initiatives. But this is an important step, and we look forward to inviting all homeowners and interested backyard farmers to participate. We also have plans to host a beekeeping and organic farm training to be held the last week of March. Especially the beekeeping, is a grant funding initiative to enhance the number of bee colonies we have in the territory. And this is an opportunity for all community members to engage in this training and obtain the related equipment to conduct beekeeping activities. Internally, at the department, we plan to work with the International Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, or HACCP, and conduct alliance training. This will be held March 16 to 17. This is a type of training that's required to ensure that our abattoir is functional and operating at the standards mandated by the USDA, and that our staff requires the required training. It is like a preventative food safety system that involves accurately identifying physical, biological, and chemical hazards during food handling and preparation stages. To that extent, we would also reach out to our community partners and stakeholders, maybe in the grocery stores or even at the animal farms and other purveyors of food. And if there are staff members there who could benefit from this training, we would be willing to include them in this training. But it is a national level training that will ensure that we meet food security standards in our abattoirs, both on St. Croix and St. Thomas. Thank you very much for the opportunity to update. Goodbye.
Okay, so that pretty much concludes what we have to report today, and we are open for any questions from the press. Good afternoon.
Sorry, is that better? Yes, it is. I didn't get the dates for the UVI trainings, the pest safety and the weed and herb. Are those two separate?
Correct. One is being conducted on February the 25th, which is a Tuesday.
Can you go to the microphone, please?
Sorry, yes. That's the first training will be conducted on February 25th, a Tuesday at UVI. It's weed control and herbicide use. The second training will be on the 26th, that Wednesday, public health pests. The location will be UVI Rec Building, room 133, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Okay, well, hearing no further questions, we thank you very much for your attention, and we look forward to seeing you at the 49th Annual AgriFest 2020. See you there.
Trendy in 2020. Thank you.
And we are trendy in 2020.
Thank you, Commissioner and Assistant Commissioner. We also have Territorial Epidemiologist Esther Ellis here and VITEMA Director Daryl Joshin to talk about coronavirus and provide some other important health information.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Esther Ellis, Territorial Epidemiologist for the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Health. The Department of Health, along with other local and federal partners, is closely monitoring an outbreak of respiratory illnesses caused by a novel coronavirus named 2019 nCoV. The outbreak first started in Wuhan, China, but cases have been identified in a growing number of other international locations, including the United States. The situation and numbers reported by the WHO in the last 24 hours is globally 37,558 confirmed cases. In China, there's 37,251 confirmed cases. 6,188 of these are severe, with 812 deaths. Outside of China, there are 307 confirmed cases in 24 countries and 2 deaths. In the United States, there's currently reported by the CDC 337 individuals, persons under investigation. 12 of these individuals have been confirmed positive, 225 are negative, and 100 samples are pending. At this time, there are no confirmed cases of 2019 nCoV in the U.S. Virgin Islands. There are also no people under investigation for the 2019 nCoV in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Symptoms of this respiratory virus are fever, cough, shortness of breath, and for any suspect cases, the Department of Health does have the capacity to collect samples for laboratory testing, and at this point would be sending samples off island to the CDC for confirmation. For recently returned travels from China, if you were in China in the last 14 days or in a place with ongoing transmission and feel sick with fever, cough, or difficulty breathing, you should seek medical advice. Call ahead before you go to a doctor's office or the ER and tell them about your travel and or your symptoms. Avoid contact with others. Do not travel while sick. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue or your sleeve, not your hands, when coughing or sneezing. And wash your hands with soap and water immediately after coughing, sneezing, or blowing your nose. In closing, in the event the U.S. Virgin Islands has a person under investigation, we have the capacity to test them, potentially quarantine if needed, conduct contact tracing, and respond. At this time, we do not have any confirmed cases of the 2019 nCoV or any people under investigation. This is an emerging, rapidly evolving situation, and the Department of Health, along with our partners, will continue to provide updated information as it becomes available. In addition, I'd like everyone to know that at the Egg Fair, we will be conducting health screening at our health van. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Francine Lang. I am the Director of Public Health Preparedness at the Virgin Islands Department of Health. And I'd like to report on some of the collaborations that we've been having with our partners in preparing for a potential case of the 2019 nCoV virus. We've updated our response plans, and we've been having weekly discussions with our partners, both internally at the Department of Health and external partners, to include agencies like Vitema, the Port Authority, WICO, tourism, and the Coast Guard, and the hospitals and federally qualified health centers. We also participate in national calls with the CDC and the Association of State and Territorial Health Officials. We are obtaining daily updates from them, and we share those with our partners. We have convened an infectious disease planning team that meets also on a weekly basis, and we have had discussions with our regional partners, the BVI and Puerto Rico. Right now, the Virgin Islands is prepared to respond to an outbreak of 29 nCoV, but our plan is really to prevent a need to respond by conducting education and outreach in the community and giving people the information they need so that they can prevent infection. One of the other things that we're working on with Vitema is we're doing a tabletop exercise.
Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Josh, and Director for Vitema, and what Ms. Lang talked about was a tabletop exercise that we'll do together. The Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency has scheduled a tabletop exercise. It's going to go from 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. So we spent a lot of time talking and discussing the tabletop on Friday the 21st of February 2020. We're going to focus on pandemic preparation, response, and recovery in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The tabletop exercise is designed for key local government and federal agencies, as well as our private sector partners. Representatives from the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, will also be on site to assist and be part of the exercise. For pandemic preparation, response, and recovery, the Department of Health is the lead agency in the territory. Commissioner Encarnacion and I discussed the tabletop exercise last week and our continued awareness and communication process and desire to involve as many agencies as we can. For a background, the tabletop exercise will be held in an informal setting and be presented by a facilitator. This type of exercise is intended to generate discussions on various issues regarding hypothetical, real-time, simulated emergency. Tabletop provides a forum to communicate, enhance general awareness, validate plans and procedures, rehearse concepts, and/or access types of systems needed to guide the prevention of, protection from, mitigation of, response to, and recovery from a pandemic incident. The tabletop exercise will offer participants the opportunity to explore different ideas in the context of a real-world scenario. All participants are encouraged to contribute to the exercise and discussion and are reminded that they're making decisions in a no-fault environment. For the pandemic scenario, sharing medical protocols, patient movement procedures, first responders' use of protective personal equipment are discussed. While the current threat to the territory remains low, working together using the tabletop exercise, we're able to identify and explain our roles and responsibilities. We keep the lines of communication open, and we share our best medical practices. So together, the territory will work amongst each other, as well as other agencies, both local, private sector, and federal partners, to be prepared to respond in case a situation does occur. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Unless there are any questions, that'll conclude this week's weekly press briefing.